Ooh, it's happening.
It got silent very quickly.
It was a surprise to everyone in the room, including the people here. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the music of the Elder Scrolls Online, the MMORPG that has been running for 10 years now. That's right. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, good. I thought you have to wait for my joke to get, well, no, that will have a different response. Yeah, it's been running for 10 years. When this game came out, the coolest jeans were super tight, and now the cool jeans are loose. So, what a world. Get used to that upsetting half a laugh. I'll be playing the role of the adoring fan for the next hour, so I hope you're half as excited as I am to welcome these enormously talented individuals to the stage. We've got Elder Scrolls Online Game Director Rich Lambert. We've got next to him singer and Twitch streamer Hazy. And on the keys, we've got Lara, incredibly talented musician and Twitch streamer. I'm your host, Jess McDonnell. You might have seen me on Twitch or in various internet places, or maybe we're meeting for the very first time today. And what you will probably only remember about me is my horrible puns. It's going to get worse before it gets better. But to be fair, that's the way I would have wanted it. We've got a lot of great stuff for you, so I don't want to take up too much time, so we better be Breton on with it. Ooh, I'm sorry. You're going to have to sear a deal with more of these. But hey, okay, look, with talent like this, talking about a game this special, who would want to be elsewhere? That one works better on the page. Okay, we're still workshopping. Now that I've divided the room into the cringing and the confused, it can only go up from here. So let's fast travel to High Hrothgar for Rich, Lara, and Hazy to introduce themselves. And then at Akatosh Wheeling, you'll mostly be hearing gorgeous music and from these incredible people and less from me. Now, he hasn't taken up the iconic baller sitting position that Thanes seem to preference, but the panel is young, and he certainly has the creds for it. Will you tell us a little bit about yourself, Rich?
I want to know what the baller sitting position is.
The Thanes, you know how they go.
Oh, yeah, no, we're not going to do that.
We'll see.
So, hi, everybody. I'm Rich. I've actually been working on the Elder Scrolls Online for 17 years now. So, started in 2007. Before that, I was actually at BGS and worked on Oblivion and Fallout 3. So I have been with the company for a very, very, very long time. And Elder Scrolls is my life, basically.
Vibe, big vibe. And of course, we also have the intimidatingly talented musos, Lara and Hazy, who will absolutely have you wondering if you probably should have kept up with an instrument when you were younger, but not to worry. They're up to date as virtuosos. So will you please introduce yourselves and just tell us a little bit about your career and your life with music?
Yeah, cool. Hi, I'm Hazy. You can call me Haley as well. It's Hazy on Twitch though. I'm a Twitch musician. I play the guitar and I sing. And I also do design as well, graphic design. But I just fell in love with music as a kid, obviously singing karaoke in the shower. As one would. And it just, became my love. And with the encouragement of friends around me, I'm, doing it more and more full-time on Twitch. And yeah, that's how we got here.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And Lara?
I go by the very catchy Lara6683 on Twitch and YouTube. I actually started YouTube 15 years ago in 2009, and I fell into doing music as a career quite by accident. I actually owe it in part to the Elder Scrolls because I posted up a Elder Scrolls medley video in 2011 and it went viral on YouTube. So I thought, okay, video game music is a thing. I started my Twitch live request show and I started with just video game music, but then I'm like, you know what, just request anything. Let's just open it up to all genres. And now that is what I do on Twitch. So I've always had an interest in video game music, but at least 50% of this career has been made possible by this game series, so thanks.
Amazing, that's lovely. And Lara, your reputation really does precede you because I have friends in the music space who are like, your ability to replicate and then play things right after hearing them is just wildly impressive.
Thank you. I have one party trick and it's still thrilling crowds everywhere.
I think it's beyond a party trick. My party trick would be me saying, Sarah, deal with it. But it's going to get so much better.
I really liked the Elsewhere
Thank
one.
you.
I was laughing by myself.
I like the Elsewhere one. I thought that was really good. Anyway, yeah, so the majority of this panel is going to be Lara playing you a bunch of tracks. We got something very special at the end that I won't spoil right away. And then Rich it'll be great to get some context from you on where these songs take place and how they were originated. But a little bit of housekeeping at the top. There is some special prizes. So thanks to Bethesda, not only do we have this incredible panel pulled together for you, but there will be 2 prizes, a major and a minor prize, which we will give away at the end, after all of the exciting entertainment that we have for you in the first 50 or so minutes. So hang around, there's going to be lots of great stuff. You're in for a fantastic panel. Someone say the best panel at PAX. Hashtag SO panel, best panel. Get it trending. Looks good for me. All right, first up though, as if all of this wasn't already enough, and the special surprises of later, we have a treat not only to have Rich in the building, but we've got the virtually pre-recorded voice, and I assume face, I haven't seen the video, of Brad Derrick, who is the composer for The Elder Scrolls Online. Take it away, pre-recorded Brad.
He looks so cute.
Hello, PAX Australia. I'm Brad Derrick, audio director and composer for The Elder Scrolls Online. I've been with ZeniMax Online Studios since 2009, way back when ESO was very early in development, and the entire audio team was just me. A lot has happened in the last 15 years. ESO has become an enormous game, a successful game, with a large audio team to support it, which has allowed me to pursue my dream of writing music for an Elder Scrolls game. It's a huge thrill and a challenging undertaking to create a musical score for a game like this. You start with nothing but an idea of the game, an idea of the music, and over time those ideas take shape and evolve and inform one another. Story, gameplay, character design, world building, all of these things provide inspiration and direction for the music, and in turn, the music can comment on and enhance those things. And on top of that, in a video game, you never know what the player is going to do next, so the musical score has to be able to react to anything. You never know what's going to happen next. With ESO in its 10th year and the Gold Road chapter having a classic Elder Scrolls feel, we decided this year's main theme would be an opportunity to do something bigger than just Gold Road. We wanted to make a kind of definitive Elder Scrolls Online musical statement, a summation of all the themes that have come before. I've done a lot of variations on that classic melody over the years, some of them pretty straightforward, some of them a little more out there, and bits and pieces of each of those managed to find their way into the 10-year Gold Road theme. It's been an incredible time getting to indulge my passions and to share those passions with all of our players. During today's panel, you're going to get to hear some of that music. I hope you enjoy hearing Lara perform these pieces and listening to Rich share some insights about how the music of Tamriel all comes together. I wish I could be there, but I'm busy at home still writing more ESO music. Have a great time celebrating a decade of the Elder Scrolls Online with your fellow ANZ community members throughout the rest of PAX Australia.
Yay! That's very exciting. I'm going to open the door for Lara in a second to head us off, but before that, I might get an overview from you, since we just heard from Brad. You were right, it was a lovely video. And you mentioned this very briefly before the panel, but how you convert your word pictures into his sound pictures, or a sentence that sounds like an adult said it.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I never see Brad that well manicured and dressed up, so it's very different. That guy composes these unbelievable symphonies, but is like the biggest death metal fan in the world. And you'd never tell that he writes this unbelievable music, you know, by looking at him. But Brad has this genius about him that he can translate words and feelings into music that really fits in there. And so when we sit down with Brad, it's literally just like cosmic horror, right? It's like one word, right? Like we're trying to convey this feeling, and he's able to go in and do that, and he can do that by, you know, the words, by looking at what's already built, and I think Laura's picked out a lot of really cool stuff that, you know, I'm really excited to kind of dig into as we go forward. But it really comes down to the genius of Brad. Like, I'm probably the least talented music person that we have at the studio. It seems like everybody else is in a band or, you know, plays something or does something, and that's not me. So I just marvel at that.
We could start a band. You could be in a band.
You don't want me playing music at all. I mean, I played the trombone in
Trombone,
school.
that's fine. Yeah, trombone.
I can't read music, so the way I did it was I would write the slide positions over every note, and that was how I learned how to play it. So yeah, it was terrible.
It's okay. I'm here playing court jester, so you're all much more talented than me. I think that's a perfect position for Lara to kick us off, and I believe the first track we're doing is the game's main theme for blood, for glory, and for honor. Comma for honor. Oxford comma for honor. Please take it away, Lara.
I'm going to kick it off with the main theme, followed by the Blackwood theme. I find it really interesting how Brad manages to weave in present themes and past themes. I also really love how he makes you wait for it. So this first theme, it's a lot of exposition, it's a lot of mood building, it's a lot of tension building, and then about a minute of the way in, he finally gives you what you've been wanting, but he doesn't give it all to you. He gives you like half of it, and I think it's masterful. So I'm just going to set the scene and play you for blood, glory, and honor. What I love the best about that is that he only gives you half the theme. So he gives you... And you're like, where's the rest of it? You don't get that. You don't get that until later. In fact, you're going to get some more in the Blackwood theme, which I am going to play for you soon. But I would like to ask Rich, how did you ask Brad for the tone and the mood that you wanted in the Blackwood main theme?
So it's interesting, you know, I touched a little bit earlier on like that one word that helps kind of describe the mood and feel. So Necrom was very much cosmic horror Cthulhu. And Blackwood, I think, was like metal, right? Like it was metal. It was like kind of that dark overtones. You know, when you look at Mehrunes Dagon, right? This giant beast with 4 arms, and he's just all about destruction. Like that's all he is. And so it was kind of that feel. And as Brad started really digging into the visuals, he was like, okay, like, let's see what this feels like. You know?
Okay. I find Blackwood really interesting because the mood changes are just constant. Every 4 bars, there's a different mood, there's a different key, there's a different melody happening. However, there is a lot of sort of Morrowind main themes happening, but Blackwood actually starts with its own melody. You'll hear what I mean. It's just chopping and changing all the time, and that's why I actually chose it. I found it the most musically interesting main theme. I will say like Clash of Fang and Flame was amazing as well, but I couldn't do all of them, so this is the guy that I chose. And sorry about the creaking.
Oh my God, wow.
Metal makes sense to me. I wasn't privy to that conversation, but
Okay.
it is quite
It does make
destructive, isn't
more
it?
sense, yeah.
It just all of the accented, like the that's really
It's that
interesting.
darker vibe, right? Like, yeah.
And also use of non-functional harmony. So what non-functional harmony means, basically, we are used to hearing certain things. We're like chords that we know what the next one's going to be. It's got a purpose. Whereas I feel like Brad wrote that particular theme just with chords that sounded good. It didn't have a function other than simply to sound good. And that's what you get using lots of chords that are maybe like 1 or 2 notes away from each other. Like it's wild. He goes from D minor to C sharp minor. That's not a harmonic progression that is functional in any way. It's purely aesthetic, and that's why I like it. I also like shout out to very anthemic version of the main theme at the end. Again, he does make you wait for it. Right at the end, he actually gives us the full theme. So I just really like the unity in that, as well as giving new ideas room to breathe.
Yeah, this is just pure joy. I don't have any more clever things to say. Please, if you would be so kind, kick us off with the next song, North Point Nocturne.
I would love to, if that's okay, hear a bit from Rich about where this piece of music sits in the game world first.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when it was, I think actually Rick Schaefer composed this in working with Brad, but this was specifically written, if I remember correctly, for Rivenspire. And the tones and the themes behind Rivenspire, I'm sure a lot of people here know what Rivenspire is, but for those that don't, it's kind of this really interesting zone where, you know, in the way back days, King Rancer, this is where he kind of stood against the orcs, and there's this big epic battle, and he ended up basically losing, or I guess it was more of a standoff than anything else. But this zone is kind of like recovering from all that, and then there's lots of noble houses that are kind of quibbling, and you're trying to figure out kind of what's going on behind it. And so I think you can kind of get a lot of that kind of calm and chaotic in this piece when you listen to it.
This one is my personal favorite. It's very calm, it's very still. I just want to give you just the tiniest bit of history, and I'm sorry if it's boring. Nocturne, actually, you might have guessed, it translates to night song, like nocturnal, noct, whatever language you're speaking in. And a nocturne is a night song. There was actually, I'll try and do this quickly, an Irish guy called John Field, and he was the first person who actually used nocturne to describe a musical piece that he'd written. So he wrote a lot of piano nocturnes, and like this one, they were very like dreamy, still, introspective. And then, of course, some of you music nerds might be thinking, what about Chopin? Chopin's the king of the nocturne. And yes, he was, but he wasn't the inventor. So John Field in the 18th century actually did this first. Chopin's were a lot more florid, a lot more embellished, if you will. But this North Point Nocturne is very much in the style of John Field. It's very calm. It is built on 4 notes, so each phrase is only 4 notes long. And to me, it sounds like the anatomy of a breath. Each phrase sounds like the anatomy of a really slow breath. You'll hear the 4-note building blocks. Occasionally there'll be a longer phrase as well, 6 or 7 notes. But yeah, this is obviously done with some artistic liberty because this is originally scored for strings. So I'm going to perform it as a piano solo piece. The only thing I'm trying to do here is reduce your resting heart rates to about 60 beats per minute.
That was incredible. I think it's probably a good time after those first three I've got a question for you, Rich. Is it ever difficult to balance tone, whether it's coming from you or coming from Brad's side, when you've got this high fantasy property, everything is so epic? You know how people say, but when everything's epic, nothing is epic, but everything is epic and remains epic. Is that ever finding the nuances when you're dealing with such complex high fantasy?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that Brad thinks about a lot when he's doing it, and you can kind of hear it in some of the music where there's the slow kind of melodic stuff, and then it beats up and whatnot. But we also got this entire system in our music system devoted to just combat, and so the system knows when the player enters into combat, and then it speeds the music piece up, changes it completely, adds it. So like, there's more than just composed this piece, and it runs in its entirety. A lot of times it gets chopped up and moved around just by what the game does and what the players are doing.
Programming.
Yeah,
How about that?
it's crazy. I don't understand it, but
That's so cool.
Brad does, and so do the audio engineers.
Brad's
And
got
it's- Yeah, it's really, really cool.
That's amazing. Well, I want to keep us moving because I want to get through as many of these as possible. So the next track that we're going to be tucking into, thanks to Lara, is Moons of Evening Star. I might get a little bit of context from you on this one if it comes to mind.
I'm so bad with names.
It's okay.
I'm going to have to hear it, and then I'm probably going to understand
If we get the
where
face
it
of
was.
Moons
Yeah.
of Evening Star, that might
What's this?
we can bookend it. Do you want to, why don't you,
Yeah.
you take it first, Lara, and then we'll...
This one I chose because it has a very otherworldly sort of feel to it, and I wanted to see how the composer actually did that. And I can explain to you, hopefully in a way that is easy enough to understand. When we listen to music, we are very used to certain scales. So we're used to those notes, that's just a classic major scale. That is pretty much what 80% of what you listen to in Western tonal music sounds like. Now, there are things called modes, which are just a way of altering the scale. So if I want to alter one note in the scale, I can make it go from this to this. And I've only changed one note. I've just raised the fourth note half a step, and that is exactly what is going on in Moons of Evening Star. So just a classical major scale would sound like this. But the composer has raised the fourth. And he's using all of those notes, not in that order, to create this piece of music. So that's why I think it's been given the otherworldly flavor. When you listen to movies that are like, oh, we're in the desert or whatever, you're like, how does it sound like that? Usually it's not just like, oh, they used a sitar or whatever. It's actually a mode. And often this is a shortcut, like a signifier for us to actually know what sort of world we're situated in. An example of that would be these kind of notes are always used for like a dream sequence. You have, right? Just like imagine some wind chimes. That's another mode. That's just another pattern of notes. So music can work as a shortcut, as a way of telling us, you are here, this is the world you're in. And I think this piece does that really well. So I'll stop talking and just play it for you now. I don't know if you heard the spicy fourth, but like to me, I'm like, it's everywhere.
That was lovely. Thank you so much. I'm just like,
I know, right?
it's like, Jessica, you're working. Come on now. I think let's hustle through some more. Unfortunately, we're only here for an hour and not like 3 hours, which is devastating. Maybe we can all refuse to leave.
I'm sure the next panel after this would love that.
All right, well, that's our backup plan. Otherwise, let's go ahead with the next track, 3 Hearts on Fire. If you want to tell us a little bit, Lara? Oh, okay. I think we got something from
I
Brad
love
too.
this
So
one.
both
Yeah.
of
Oh,
you
no,
want
Rich
to.
can speak first. This is 3 Hearts of Fire
No,
from
both.
Somerset.
Yeah, from Somerset. So I love this one because it was kind of, I remember Brad talking about this where he wanted to make like a the Bard song, right? This is, you will probably know what I'm talking about by Bard songs, but you wanted to make an epic Bard song and make it feel a little bit more elven, but also I think we got parts of this into kind of the Court of Bedlam, which is one of the kind of the big kind of baddies, if you will, bad factions in Somerset. And so I think it took what Maluka did, from the base game. Yeah, I think it was 3 Hearts Become One. I think it was the Ebonheart PAX song, and turned it into this really epic kind of almost rock ballad, right? Which is cool.
This one I love because it gives us a bit of a structure. So there is a vocal version of this and an instrumental version. I'm doing the instrumental version. This piece opens with basically giving us, hey, these are the notes that I'm going to use. So it just opens with these notes going, yep, this is the key we're in. And if anyone is interested in the mode, that's just a natural minor, that's just an Aeolian mode. And then what he does next is he gives us the melody, but slow. So he's like, this is what you're going to hear. I'm being annoying. Okay. Then the military, almost bullet style, really rhythmic bit starts up, and it is the same bardish melody in 3/4, because like that's the rules. Bard songs always have to be in triple time. It's the same melody. He's like foreshadowed us. He's like, you've just heard the melody you're about to hear now, but faster.
Love it.
Let's just have an extra cheer for the free serotonin we're all getting right now. This is stunning. Thank you so much. I think we have time for one more before the super special performance, and then the other super special thing that's happening. So the last one that we're going to be able to get through before that is called Azura's Coast, which is exciting for reasons that Brad and Lara will walk us through, but exciting for me because I can say, by Azura, by Azura, by Azura, and check. I have now put in an agonizing reference and can kick it off to the talented people.
Oh my God, that was a bit much.
Yeah. I am. Go.
All right. Yep, I'm sufficiently uncomfortable. But I'm not going to say too much about this because I know we're running a little short of time. I will say that Azura's Coast has a really, really lovely reference. You'll hear it about halfway through to Peaceful Waters. And the way that they set it up and just drop it in the middle of the Peaceful Waters theme just sort of emerges. Rich, did you want to say anything about this before I play it?
This makes me think of Oblivion. And wandering around outside of, Castle Anvil, like just doing, like, I love this piece. Like, it's such a nostalgic piece. Like, I love it so much.
Do you want to tell us anything about that one from your side?
I just think it's really beautiful. It's very flowing. It's just a lovely, like, natural minor scale. It's very easy to play. It's very melodic driven. And I also chose it because of the nostalgia bomb, like Rich was saying.
Oh, so much nostalgia. I feel like I'm a little kid playing Oblivion again. I'm like going back to my childhood, watching my dad play the earliest Elder Scrolls games. I'm going through it over here.
You know how old that makes me feel?
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm getting there.
Thank you.
How gorgeous. I unfortunately think we should probably kick ahead to our last major performance of this piece, as much as I would very much enjoy to just sit here for the rest of PAX listening to you, Lara. I couldn't keep you here. That would be against some laws. Anyway, I didn't write that down. That one was right off the dome. What we have at the end here for you is an extra special performance. We've arguably left the best for last, although I feel like all of it is the best, because we've got a bard performance. So Hazy is going to be joining Lara for an accompaniment performance of Beauty of Dawn. And I won't even say a dumb thing. Let's just clap, and then they'll sing, and you can clap again.
Serpent lights the ancient sky, a thread of tainted stars. Evil stirs, and in its wake the souls of mortals sway. Sorrow fades over fields of red. Spirits pace through the shadows cast by the graves. These are days and nights of venom and blood. Heroes will rise as the anchors fall. Brave the strife, reclaim every soul that belongs to the beauty of dawn. Darkness strives to blind the strong, but faith will guide our swords. Loyal hearts will stand as one and fight with shields of hope. Pride feels the deadly fire that devours our tower of gold. The drums of war will rage and roar till the sun burns bright once more. These are days and nights of venom and blood. Heroes will rise as the anchors fall. Brave the strife, reclaim every soul that belongs to the beauty of dawn.
Thank you so much. I just realized I can't really hoop and holler. There's a microphone in front of me. But I can't help it. That was stunning. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about that one? Rich?
I mean, this was another, song that I believe Maluka wrote. It was a bard song, and we were talking about it earlier. Like, what was your favorite one? And that was right up there. So that was awesome. Like, that was fabulous.
Yeah, that was stunning. What was that one like to sing for you, Hazy?
Oh, amazing. I just remember hearing it for the first time and I was like, this is enchanting.
Yeah.
So I feel very privileged to be able to cover it for you guys.
Well, you absolutely nailed it. Thank goodness they didn't ask me to do it. That would have been even more uncomfortable than I've made you so far. That was fantastic. Wait, I got one more. Do you want one more? That one more horrible joke?
Oh, okay.
Do you want to hear me tell a joke?
All right, yeah.
Okay. Yes, tell a joke. Okay.
Be funny, quick.
Thank you so much. No, I'm going to be serious. Thank you so much for joining us and watching these very talented people. Unfortunately, we're almost at the end of you being able to listen to this incredible, very special radio show of Elder Scrolls Online FM. As you probably know, we are sponsored by Nord. Is it Nords, the people, not the VPN? I'm kidding. It's the Imperials. The Nords suck. Don't at me. Don't at me. Okay, I give you a present now, so you won't be upset with me for my jokes. Now, we're going to do something awkward. You know how you guys came in and sat down and were told where to sit? You know how you have no idea what row and seat you're in? Well, we have allocated prizes based on where you are. So with a little help from the Bethesda staff, we're not only going to give 2 lucky people a couple of incredible things to take home, but you're going to have to do some finagling, figure out what seat you're in. So the winner of the first, if you want to look around, the winner of the first major prize is in 19M. If no one's sitting at it, we have a backup idea. Does anyone, do we have a 19M identified? It seems like M may be in the back middle section. And this...
Somebody just shifted to M. I saw that.
But is that a legal move?
Kim's giving us a thumbs up. Is that what I see?
It's a legal move. That was some clever, quick thinking. Now I'll get you to come down to the front. The major prize you'll be taking away is a gorgeous Ethelia statue.
Ooh.
So aren't you glad you took a gamble on getting in trouble? See, the laws are just guidelines. I should stop. I'll stop saying things. There is a minor, Riot, no, there is a minor prize, so we're gonna play this game again. It's gonna be great. Now, is somebody in, we better do in. Do you wanna do in this time? 13F, don't move. Yes? Are you?
Hey.
Oh, good. It's a legal 13F. Oh. I don't like the usage of legal there. There's a person who's really in 13F. Amazing. Now you're getting the minor prize, which is sort of as good as the major prize. It's an
cool.
Hermaeus Mora cuddle bundle. I know. I want that. I should have moved to 13F. That's what I should have done. All right, well, now it's unfortunately time to pretty much wrap things up here. On a personal note, you may have noticed from me just being, it has just been such a joy to listen to you guys. You are all so talented and your stories are fascinating. This is just such a wonderful series, and I probably speak for a lot of people in the room in saying it's a seminal, massive part of a lot of our lives. And we really appreciate what you brought to it and then your performances today. Guys, it's absolutely wonderful. So please, can you join me in giving it up for Rich, Lara, and Hazy? And it's also worth making a note of the fact that to treat these tunes you'll have in your head all day, check out Elder Scrolls Online. It's a fabulous game, and there are soundtracks that you can pick up as well if you want to. Otherwise, have a lovely and safe PAX, and thank Bethesda as well for making this all happen.